You're watching a clip from the 90% podcast. Make sure to follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review. So here you go. Enjoy this clip from our podcast.
So for those who don't know who Misha is, can you just give us a 1 to 2 minute overview on who you are?
Absolutely. I'm Misha Horsey, like you said, from Philly. I went to Stony Brook University to play in college, and I have a basketball training company in the suburbs of Philly called Montgomery County, woman-owned. So we have female trainers, and the goal is to continue to push the narrative that women can hoop too, women can train. So it started off as like just a training program. We were only going to train girls, and then it grew to, parents were like, hey, I want to get my son with you. Like, you're doing some great stuff. We had, people go to college, Northeastern, Loyola, all the way to D3, Alvernia. So we've been able to impact a lot of lives, save parents some money, and develop great people along the way. So we're just pushing, trying to be great in terms of our impact, and, go from there.
I love it. How long have you had Probound?
Yeah, so close to 10 years. We started 2014, like I said, with the goal of just training girls. I had a girl in our logo. Like the first logo was a girl inside of the basketball. And I'm like, you know what? Now that we've changed, we got to change the brand. Because when people see that, they're going to think, oh, you only train girls, young girls. So I had to make it to the reality of where we are today, to make sure that parents, when they're looking at trainers to join with us, that they know that we train boys and girls.
Absolutely. So how long did you only train girls for?
Yeah, I would say close to maybe 3 years. We first started out, I was coaching a high school called Germantown Friends School in Germantown, Philly, in the city. And that was my first athlete, was somebody who I coached. And she asked me, hey, can you help develop my handle? And just, the spark started from there. And then the parent paid me some money. And I was like, oh, man, this is real. This can be a business.
I know that feeling,
You know what I'm saying? This could really be something. It was $20 for a private session, And I was just figuring out. I didn't know what to charge. I just knew that I had a passion for it and that I could create a business out of it. I was always business-minded. My dad's an entrepreneur. He has an accounting firm. He represents Ray Allen, Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, wow.
John Morant.
So that's what's up.
So it's in my DNA to have an entrepreneurial spirit. So basketball was something I was confident in. I was like, I want to learn business, so why don't I just combine the two, And it just started from there.
100%. And then I know one thing that this is called the 90% podcast, right?
Yep.
Because the game is 90% mental,
sure.
As well as basketball, right? The game of basketball as well as the game of life, right? And so with what you just said, you said you combine basketball, business, right? But I know you guys also touch on the mindset and the confidence
absolutely
aspect of stuff, right?
Yeah,
so can you touch on that?
Absolutely.
Like, what's your approach towards that?
Yeah, so we have monthly mentorship calls every month, and we touch on confidence, how to be aggressive, how to beat performance anxiety, like all of those things.
And these are with your trainees?
Yeah, with our
Sweet.
members.
Yeah,
with our members. And so if you are a member over a long period of time, you have access to those calls. And we do progress reports. So the thing we ask one question. It's like, what is your biggest struggle? Right? In basketball, a lot of people don't even say skill. They say confidence. They say being aggressive. Right? So, like, I love your podcast because a lot of people don't talk about the mental part, right? And Kevin Durant, I don't think you remember but he said, like, I was doing all the skills, but confidence was the thing that I was struggling with. So I couldn't perform. I couldn't execute because of confidence.
Oh, wow. I never heard Kevin
Durant. Yeah, you got to tell your kids that. Yeah, you got to tell your kids that. Yeah, because they look at all the stuff on YouTube, the drills, the dunks, the games, and all of the preparation. They even see preparation from a skills perspective. But how do you show mental preparation? What do you do?
1,000%. And I heard something, I was listening to another podcast last week where they said the difference between an amateur and a pro is that an amateur plays majority of the time.
Yes.
A pro prepares majority of the time and then is ready to play.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but they were just talking about the skill side. You know what I mean? Like, amateur players are just hooping at LA Fitness, whereas pros are like working on their game, and then they go play a game after multiple days and hours of working. But thinking of it on the mental side is huge. Like, amateurs definitely are not working on the mental side of the game, whereas pros should be, right?
Yes.
And most of them are at this point because they understand the importance of it and how much of an impact it can have on their physical performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and another thing, too, is like you got to allow the kids to identify what the mental part of the game is, right? It's like we can coach them up and we can stop them and tell them certain things, but how do you make it clear for kids to know that it's a part of the mental training, right? So like, for example, in the beginning of our session, we have a focus for the day, right? It's a mental focus for the day, whether it's confidence, whether it's communication, talk, and touch to bring energy. And we call it the 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, effort. You got to bring that every time.
I love it.
Right?
Yep.
And so that's mental. That's a choice that you make to have all 3 things that don't, it's not skill.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
it's
for
mental.
sure. Yeah. You're making that decision. It is a decision. Am I going to bring the 3 E's or am I not? Right.
Exactly.
And so it starts with making that mental choice. I love that.
Yep.
And so you guys do the mindset calls,
Yep.
right? You do that in the beginning of the workouts. Is
Yep.
there anything else that is like major for attacking the mindset?
Yeah. So in the end, we do shout outs, right? So we do shout outs. So basically we have the kids shout out someone else in terms of what did you observe throughout the session that they did. And what it does is it trains the mind to focus, right? Because kids have a short attention span. You think about social media and all of those things. It's hard to keep kids in motion. So we tell kids, if you want to be professional, you got to train your mind, right? And so if they don't have a shout out, that means they weren't focused. They weren't aware of what was going on in the session. You need that for life. You need to be aware.
Oh, yeah. No. Consciousness is the big thing. You don't want to just go through life not being conscious. So I love that. I'm stealing, by the way, I'm stealing a lot of this stuff.
Come on, man. Yeah.
No,
like it's mine to give. Like it's not, I don't own it. It's not mine to keep. And, you know, you're going to forever remember this conversation. And now you're going to look at the impact. And that's all. We should be in this. I know you are. But in general, for trainers that are listening to your podcast, we should be in this for impact.